What's up, guys? It's Crypto Clay here, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about the market, some sentiment behind what's going on with the current market, and my personal opinion on what is going on, what I think is going to play out over the next few weeks, few months, few years. So stick around. Let's just talk about what is playing out with the current market, some speculation behind what's going on, and then if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to leave them in the comments section below, or feel free to join the Discord server, which I will have posted in the description below. We are always looking for more people to add to the discussion on my Discord server, so feel free to join. And then if you want more information on my side business with Matt Mahaffey, we have a website at cryptomarketinvestments.com, so feel free to check that out if you want some more information on that. So let's just jump right into it. All right, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about today was this article that I read titled "Wall Street Bank Morgan Stanley Likens Bitcoin to Dot-Com Bust." So obviously, there's been talks and speculation for a while now whether or not this is a bubble and it's currently bursting. And while I agree with a lot of the sentiment on that issue, I have a problem with people likening the dot-com bubble to Bitcoin. See, the problem that I have with that is that if we're going to say that we're in a bubble, then we need to say cryptocurrencies or blockchain technology as a whole is in a bubble and not Bitcoin. The reason that I say that is because Bitcoin actually has a purpose and will do well over time, whereas a lot of these other cryptocurrency projects that don't really solve anything, and they were just there to make money for the creators, the dev teams, and then exit. Those are going to go away and probably go to zero, a lot like a lot of the web pages that made a quick buck in the dot-com bubble. So I really hate whenever people say that Bitcoin itself is in a bubble. I really don't think that is what's going on. I think a lot of people got burned in December with people taking profits, the Mt. Gox trustee selling a lot of Bitcoin on the open market. We had, BitConnect burn a lot of people. We had other Ponzi schemes and scams that scammed a lot of people out of money. There's just been a lot that is piled on top of one another to create this perfect storm of a downtrend. We've had Google and Facebook ban all ads related to these things. So there's just been a lot going on. There's been fears of regulation coming into the market, and it's all been very negative news. But in the past couple of weeks, we've had a lot of great news come out, and things like the Lightning Network and segregated witness adoption is at an all-time high currently. We've had a lot of great news in that field, and so I think there's a lot of uncertainty, and you see a lot of bears and a lot of bulls kind of fighting against one another right now on the market, and I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. Right here, you can just see on this chart, we're taking a look at the 4-hour chart, and you can just see all of the volatility. There's been so many bull runs and a lot of bearish trends that just, completely are going against one another. And who's going to win in the short term, I think, is going to play out, and we're going to see that bears are probably going to win in the short term just because there is not enough volume to back up a bull run at this time. However, in the long run, I think we're going to see Bitcoin do exceptional things because as far as I'm concerned, Bitcoin is the best payment solution on earth right now. It is the most secure. It is becoming faster and cheaper to transact again, which is a great thing for adoption because in order for the masses to be able to get in and buy and trade and, spend their Bitcoin, they're going to need to be able to do that cheaply and effectively. And if it's slow or expensive, then people aren't going to want to take part. But the thing is, guys, even when Bitcoin was at its slowest transaction speed, it was still a hell of a lot faster than banks, and you still had control of your money. Whereas with banks, it's slow, expensive, and you have no control over your money after you put it into a bank. So, I think people are going to eventually see that, and we're starting to see a lot of companies that are willing to accept Bitcoin, which is a huge thing for adoption. In order for adoption to really occur, then you need to have companies that are willing to accept Bitcoin as a form of payment. And if something like Amazon or a large company like that were to start accepting Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies as forms of payment, then we would see huge scale adoption, which we haven't really seen yet, but we've started to see a lot of interest from other places that, maybe not necessarily we want, but in the end, we need it for large scale adoption. And I'm talking about banks and Wall Street and firms like that. Okay, moving on. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about is the Venezuela petrodollar. So for those of you that don't know, Venezuela came out with a cryptocurrency that is backed by petroleum. Obviously, it's called the petrodollar. And essentially what they did was created this ICO to launch a cryptocurrency. And today, President Trump here in the United States decided that he was going to make a prohibition, essentially, to United States citizens buying this cryptocurrency. And it's really interesting to see the president, create a presidential order that bans people from buying something on the open market, considering the fact that he claims to be a Republican, which Republicans tend to be pro-capitalism, which Trump himself is a capitalist. He owns many, many hotels and real estate across the United States, and somebody like that should be in favor of the open market. And so it's really interesting to see him place this prohibition on people buying this on the open market. Now, would I buy the petrodollar myself? No, not at all. But I would never tell anybody that they can't buy something. And that's kind of what decentralization is all about. Cryptocurrencies and capitalism kind of go hand in hand. So it's interesting to see a person who claims to be a capitalist make a ban like this. And, I don't want to talk about the aspects of the actual cryptocurrency and whether or not it's a good fundamental purchase. I don't think that it is personally, but I don't really want to talk about that. I just wanted to talk about, the president making this ban and what I thought of that. And I think it's very interesting. And based on this ban, we could potentially see more regulation to come. And so that could throw a wrench in, people purchasing other cryptocurrencies on the market if there's more regulation to come. So, and that's something that I think is a huge worry for a lot of people. And that might be why a lot of people sold off and are no longer in the market. And it's completely understandable. I could see people's thought process behind that. However, it's going to be very difficult to regulate this. How are they going to know who's actually purchasing petrodollars, especially if somebody is spoofing their IP address? It's going to be very difficult. So, moving on. One of the Ethereum co-founders basically said something similar to what I was saying earlier and called this this bubble bursting short-sighted. And I tend to agree with what he was saying. he basically was talking about technological innovations and how we're moving in a great direction with that. Things that are going to be built on the Ethereum network very soon. And I kind of agree with his sentiment. I think that there's going to be a lot of things that come into play here with the Ethereum blockchain and with the Bitcoin blockchain as well. So I tend to agree with him that, calling it a bubble bursting is just very, very short-sighted. And if you want to take a look at this article, it's on Altcoin Today. So that's kind of where the market is at right now. I think there's a lot of insecurity in the market for the bulls, and for the bears, I think they're very happy right now with a lot of their short positions. So what plays out over the next couple of weeks, I think that we could continue to see a downtrend. However, I'm still very bullish on this year with cryptocurrencies. I think that we're going to finish this year higher than the all-time highs of last year. So personally, I am going long on this, and it might be foolish of me, but I would rather be wrong about this than keep my money in a currency that continuously falls in value. The US dollar is something that I don't believe in at all anymore. Everybody always says that cryptocurrencies have nothing backing them. Well, I could say the same exact thing about the US dollar at this point. As soon as people decide that they no longer want to buy barrels of oil with the US dollar, then the US dollar is going to be completely worthless. And we're already starting to see that. With inflation, the US dollar is almost worthless. So give it time, and with inflation, I think Bitcoin is going to be worth more than the US dollar. And I've said this before, where I think Bitcoin is backed by something. It's backed by the miners. Electricity costs money, and miners are not going to keep a network secure unless it's worth more than what they're putting in to pay for electricity. So keep that in mind, guys. It's actually backed by that. But that's what I wanted to talk about today, guys. I know there's a lot of insecurity, a lot of people asking questions about what they should be doing right now. And, if you follow us on Crypto Market Investments, the Discord server, then we're trying to give out as much information as possible based on what we believe is going on and what we think to happen over time. And, there's still so many factors at play here, and it's really tough to say exactly what's going to happen. However, based on technical analysis, based on fundamental analysis, we can come to some conclusions as to what is a good trade and when. And, we have some of that information available at Crypto Market Investments, so be sure to check us out there. That is going to be it for today's video. Crypto Clay out.